fans, we're back again with another video. A good friend of mine named Rich Hanf. He's one of the original horror haunted house influencers before there ever was social media. Between Fright Times magazine, a guy named Jim O'Rear had a magazine, and of course Hauntworld magazine. He used to produce these articles called Hanf Predicts. And trust me, he got so many people upset with his predictions. If you ever get a chance to talk to Rich Hanf at the Transworld shows, he's got so many stories. He's from New Jersey, New York, and you can talk to him about the time he just hung out with Bruce Springsteen. This guy is one of the first haunters who ever made how-to videos. One of the first videos he did was with John Denley, Professor Nightmare, and then he did his own as well, and it's called Rich Hanf Live at Horror Hill. And it really focuses on down and dirty haunt tactics for your actors to try to make your actors scream, make your customers scream, and train your actors. This is a classic video, but when you watch it, you'll see that a lot of this stuff still applies today.
Hi there. My name is Richard Hanf. Chances are we've met before. Some people call me the Phantom. Some people call me Dr. Dread. Lots of people call me things you can't say on TV. But one fact remains, that I need a really big bandage. No, that was stupid. I'm sorry, okay? One fact remains. This is one great haunted house. I'm standing in front of House on Horror Hill in Long Island, New York. And don't get me wrong, there are haunted houses out there that are much bigger than this one. There are people out there that have spent tens of thousands of dollars more than we've spent on this one. Tremendous advertising budgets. I know what this is. But the reason this is a great haunted house, what separates this one from the others and why it stands head and shoulders above so many of the other haunted houses out there today, is because every scare, every gross out, and every skit in this haunted house works, and it works big time. So we're going to go into the house. As always, I'll be providing you with plenty of documentary footage so you can see just how the scares are done. We'll talk a little about the philosophy of fear and how to actually scare people. Because even with the best props and the best setups, if your actors aren't trained properly and they're not adhering to a few simple rules, it's not going to help you, and your scare and your house is going to go right down the tubes. So let's go inside and check out some things. Now, has this ever happened to you? You sit around with your friends and your staff, and you design what you think, what you hope, is a great haunted house. Plenty of scares, so it looks good on paper. You get inside, you open up, and you're this far short of where you should be. The scares are there, but not really as good as they should be, or maybe not as many as they should be. There's something just not right with it. You're just a little off. But we're going to be talking about that. Some basic scare techniques that maybe you're not adhering to really tweak your show, to make sure every scare is working as well as the ones in here work, so that almost every group that goes by gets hit. I'm going to teach you those things right here, right now. Let's go inside, and we'll begin immediately. Right this way, Master. Come on. What? All right, I'm here alone. I have to make believe that I'm telling you to come in. I'm really here alone. I have to circle around so you don't see me and bring the camera in there myself. All right, look, it's Halloween. What do you expect from me? I'll be back. One of the things that I like to do in my haunted houses is to hit the people hard and fast as soon as they walk in. So I try to make it so that they're not even in here 20 seconds before I hit them with a scare right off the bat. So here's the first one of this year's haunted house. Now, this is just an ordinary prop, crudely mounted to a piece of wood. Not a big deal. It's a great piece. I believe it's one of Little Spider's pieces. Mark Runner is always doing a great job. It gives them a really good visual, but it sets them up for a scare right down here, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let's just take the camera and move it this way. Okay? Now look at her. This is the same type thing. A good looking prop, crudely mounted on a piece of wood. Now, the people already saw that and nothing happened. So in a sense, it gets them to let their guard down. When they let their guard down, what happens? Well, somebody comes flying out of here for the scare. Now it could be just someone coming out at you this way, or what I like doing this year was we took a big guy, put him in here, and gave him one of the Distortion Unlimited heads. I think we used the one with the tongue in it. Boy, that's a great one. And I'm not going to get into the lines you can use with that. The guy comes out, has the head, he's wiggling the tongue, and it's a great initial shock. Hey, take a look. I'll show you what I mean. See what I mean? That was pretty good. And that worked time and time again. And one of the reasons it worked was because of the initial force of the scare, but also because we had gotten them to let their guard down a little because they saw the first prop, which of course did nothing. Another important fact, and we'll deal with this a little later on, is that I adhered to a very important rule, and that's something that it's a simple phrase that I've coined, the 45-degree rule. And we'll go into the 45-degree rule, what that is, why it's effective, and how if you don't adhere to it, your scares are doomed. I'll get into that just a little later. I went to a haunted house this year where time and time again this guy did not adhere to this rule, and the scares were just ruined time and time again. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Let me get you a hot, fresh rat. This is the Mad Jeffrey area. Mad Jeffrey is a character I created about 5 years ago after Jeffrey Dahmer, of course. And we've always done a Mad Jeffrey's house or kitchen. It's meant to be a disgusting place with body parts all over like I just saw you. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of imagination. We all have body parts, right? I learned something this year, though. Up until now, the character of Mad Jeffrey had always been played by a guy. And when I placed my initial ads in the paper for actors this year, I was overwhelmed, well, I guess I'm always overwhelmed, by the number of women who responded to the ad. I'm going to say 80%. 75 to 80% of the people responding to my initial ads were women. Now, I don't know why that is. I don't know if it happens to you, but it seems to happen to me year in and year out. So I'm taking everybody through the haunted house to show them the available positions. And I was taken aback by the number of women that wanted to be here in the Mad Jeffrey area. Now, to tell you the truth, I was a little concerned. I just didn't know whether or not a woman could pull it off. I didn't know whether a woman could be disgusting enough. I didn't know whether or not a woman could be forceful enough. But I gave it a try. And I'm happy to say that our Alicia came up with Mrs. Dahmer's Country Kitchen. You see, that worked pretty well. And again, no one was more surprised than me. I'm glad I gave a woman a chance in the spot. And it was a good lesson. And learn from my experience. It was a good lesson. Now, let me show you a couple of real easy things to help make any disgusting situation like this even better. Okay, you saw Mrs. Dahmer get the people with something. Let me show you what it was. Here you have your handy-dandy jar of eyes made by Don Post. He may not have got a lot of product to a lot of people this year, but I'm certainly glad I got this. Inside the jar of eyes, I've put a regular plastic eyeball. Looks pretty good. See? Regular old eyeball. Probably costs about 59 cents. You get them in boxes of a gross. It's not a big deal. Well, you just fill them up with water, and what she was doing, she was saying, hey, these are small, but they sure are tasty, and you just squirt the water out at them. And it's a surefire, disgusting bit every time. I don't know why people don't think it's water. I don't know why people think it's blood or ooze from an eyeball or pus or whatever it is. But whatever it is, they hate it and they recoil from it, as you saw on the tape. Now here's another one. Well, let me tell you, friends, these things are a thing of beauty. They're called devil eyes. I call them squishy eyes, but take a look. They're devil eyes. I think you can get them, I think I got these from Dillon Importing, but you can also get them from Oriental Trader. Now, I don't know what we ever did before squishy eyes came along. I don't know how I ever did a haunted house without them. Watch this. This is the most incredible thing you've ever seen. As you can see, I'm opening up the package live on TV. Now you take these things out and just look at them. Look how disgusting they are. Oh God, I love these things. They're real sticky. See how sticky these things are? Is this great or what? Oh my God, these are wonderful. Real nice and sticky, but they don't stick to you. Everything is fine. But that's nothing. Watch this. Watch what happens. Watch the table right around here. I'll try to get it to land there. Did you see that come back together? This is fantastic. You have to admit, that is great. Now I'm going to try to throw one against the wall. Let's watch this. It's always good to start with a clean one. But I tell you, these things are so sticky that when you throw them, you have to throw them way over the area you want to hit. Like if I'm trying to hit on the table, you have to throw it way past the table. Look at that. Is that beautiful? I'm trying to zero in on this. And of course, the beauty is, it comes back together. There you go. Good as new for another one. And that one really is a little off center. Look at that. This is great. Ah, hit the corpse. Look. How great is that? Perfect. See, it splats out, then it comes back together. All right, when it's nice and new, and you're doing it on an area that isn't dirty, it really splatters out great, and it comes back together. And you can't beat these things. Like I said, look at that one. I don't know what we did before the invention of squishy eyes. Cool is this? Well, there's nothing like a good silhouette, is there? That is so cool. Let's see if I can't show you what this is. It's just a mannequin with a really good mask on it. Look at that guy. Is he beautiful? Now, when you're talking good masks, you're talking Death Studios. Nobody makes a mask like Death Studios. Look at that vampire. I've got a little light on the subject. Now again, this is a classic misdirection, and the 45-degree rule is in effect. I guess it's time to pretty much explain what that is. First of all, let me show you what the payoff in this room is. explain where we are. Here's Mrs. Dahmer's kitchen. And right over here is where the vampire is, behind the curtain. So now people are coming through here, they pass by the door, and nothing happens. They're perfectly safe, or so they think. They come up here, they're looking at the curtain. They don't know whether the guy behind the mask is real or not. They don't know whether the silhouette behind the curtain is real or not. Suddenly, what happens? Boom! The door drops, there's a big bang, and a big guy comes flying out for the scare. Again, this is the beauty of misdirection. They don't know what's going to happen here. This is totally safe, totally off limits at this point, because they went by it and nothing happened, therefore their guard is down. They're worried about over here. So what I do is get them to worry about an area where nothing is going to happen, and let them get their guard down in an area where something will happen. And that's how I get these people, time and time and time again. And when I told you how every scare in the house works, this is one of the reasons why. One of the other beauties about this is that the same guy that comes out here is the same guy that came out from behind the vampire early on. So now you're getting two scares with one person. And if you have a big payroll, you know how important that can be. All right, there's nothing really special about this area here, except that it works really well. This is just an ordinary cabinet. Ordinary closet, no big deal. You leave one door open. And here I am inside. With one door open, it gives the effect that there's nothing inside it. If it was closed, then of course people are going to be wondering, hey, what's going to come out of there? But when it's open, it looks as though the actor has left his post, thereby doing what? Getting the people to put their guard down again. And once they put their guard down, they're yours. This, of course, is done in a totally darkened area of the house. I put light on here so you can see me. What a treat. So, so you can see me, but normally this area is pitch black. So when someone comes out, it's a real startle scare. And also you can just take a little flashlight or some small light and hook it on here so that when the guy comes out and turns on a light, it makes for a visual scare as well. And that's something that we have to discuss, but we'll do that in just a few minutes. You know, this is a scare that's so simple, I'm almost embarrassed to show it to you. Here we have a hotel, perhaps the Bates Motel. You see we have some keys over here and some slots for mail. Just very, very basic. This is just a corner of a room. Now this room used to be much, much bigger. The cabinet that you saw before was in that room, and I found it fairly ineffectual. So we broke it up into several smaller rooms, which brings us to an important point. Keep your rooms small and intimate. I was in a haunted house this year. You went in the front and you're standing in a giant room. There's an animated piece there. It goes through its scenario, and then from a trunk, I believe it was a trunk in the back, someone comes out from behind this thing and tries to run around and scare you. There's no way that could work. In a room that big, there's only several places a scare can come from. And it's real easy to see where those places are. In a real big room, how in the world is an actor going to get close enough to do a quick, in-your-face, startle type scare? Unless you're doing some kind of theatrical room. Keep the room small, otherwise they're not going to work. Now you'd be hard-pressed to find a room or a scare area smaller than this. We have a corner over here. We have a desk. We have the book, a no vacancy sign, and a bell. So all that happens is the guy is ducking under here. Maybe it's a monster, a zombie, maybe it's Mrs. Bates, it doesn't matter. The people come around here. There's a sign right here. It says ring bell for service. Well, someone looks at it, they ring the bell. As soon as you ring the bell, the guy comes flying over here, comes out at the people. It's a quick startle scare. They go flying into the wall, and I know that because we have to kick out the wall every night. And then back under here.
What's going in? I wouldn't trust that picture.
About one common mistake that everybody seems to make. An actor jumps out from here, gets a good scare, and then ruins it by not going back to where he came from. He jumps out, he gets the scare, and then hangs out. Hangs out, looking at the people. Well, that's not scary. You know, I said in a previous tape, one that I made with my friend John Denley, Professor Nightmare, the first How to Do a Haunted House tape, which I believe has become the industry standard. I said in there, any monster, any zombie, any psycho killer that invades your space and doesn't kill you has lost his credibility as a killer. And when a monster or a killer loses their credibility, you lose the scare. So it's always good to keep some distance. There's always that chance that something's going to go terribly wrong. So it's always good to keep some distance. But when you're doing a startle scare, and you're using the old Chillerama in-your-face type of startle scare, if you come up and get the scare and then you stay there, again, you're losing your credibility. That part of the mind says, hey, no danger here, guy in a mask, no problem. If you come out fast and go back down, then the startle scare is effective. But please, always remember, train your actors to return to where they came from. Otherwise, they're going to see it's just a guy in a dopey mask, and that's certainly not scary. So that's one big point. Another great thing about this area here is that we came from that darkened hallway where the closet was. So there's only a few people in here. They ring the bell and get scared. Then this guy returns to his place. Now, we're talking, I've talked about, or I've mentioned, the 45-degree rule. Here's what's so great about it. Most of the group is behind this wall. They suspect that something has happened in here, but they don't know exactly what. They don't know if someone came from above. They don't know if someone came from this area over here, and I'll show you that in a second. They don't know if someone came from around the corner. They know something happened in here. They heard screams. They heard banging as the people threw themselves against the wall, but they don't know what. And that's so important, because that just helps add to the mystery and the aura of the house. They're building up their own anticipation in their own minds. What's going to happen next? Chances are we could never come up with anything as frightening or as horrible as they're conjuring up in their own minds. But the beauty of the 45-degree rule is that you're scaring just a few people here, while the rest of the people are down here. Now, this haunted house that I was in last year, you're walking down an area, and there's a coffin to one side, and a guy's supposed to sit up out of the coffin. Now, that's not all that scary to begin with. But the real problem is that it was a straight line. So even if the scare does work and you get the first guy, the whole rest of the line saw it, and now the whole scare and the whole area becomes totally ineffectual, because you have groups of 8 or 10 or 12 people, and you're getting one person out of that group, and the rest of the group saw what happens. That's just as bad as someone getting the scare and then just standing here like this looking at you. Always remember, use that 45-degree rule. And I'll show you again when we go to the area of walls and windows. Use the rule. They're coming down the hallway this way, friends, and they're making a turn in here. They're hitting this. I'm scaring 3 or 4 people. The whole rest of the group is still around the corner. They don't know what happened. So get them as they go around the corner. Get them here, all right? And the whole rest of the group is down here. Very, very important. And let me touch on one more aspect of startle scares, because startle scares are such an important part of every haunted house. I mean, we walk a pretty fine line, us haunted house guys. You can't have a totally theatrical production. I mean, I know guys that do. Kevin McCurdy in Poughkeepsie has probably the finest haunted house I've ever seen. And it's a totally theatrical production. But the numbers suffer. I mean, people are waiting online 3 and 4 hours to get in because you simply can't put in people as quickly as you need to if you're going to put the number through, and you need to put the number through to make some money and get back your investment. So it's a very fine line. You can't, personally, I don't like doing a Leonard Pickle method, and let's face it, Leonard's been around a long time and I have great respect for him. Leonard believes bang the people through. If you can knock through 1,000 people an hour, that's great. And it is great. But I'm charging $10 to get in. And nobody is going to pay $10 and be satisfied with the quality of their show if I'm just banging them through and not giving them any kind of interaction, if I'm not giving them any kind of skits. That's what I mean when I say we walk a fine line. If you're just charging $1 or $2, or maybe even $3, and you're running through the house in a few minutes, well, no one's going to complain if that's the kind of show you're doing. But if you're charging $10, then you have to give the people some form of entertainment, something different than just let's bang them through as fast as possible. But again, on the other side of the fence, the totally theatrical production, that can catch up with you too, because you find that people are spending too long in the house and you simply can't do the numbers. But this whole conversation started by me saying the startle scare is an important part of every haunted house. Whether it's theatrical or not, there's some part of that house you're going to use startle scares. And they're good. They're good because they work. They're good because they help push the people through. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I've noticed it. I noticed it this year, maybe for the first time. I mean, I know it's been a problem in my shows in the past, but I've really pinpointed it for the first time. People come out, they try to do a startle scare, and they go back in because that's what I told them to do. The problem is they do it too quickly. They do it too fast. And I've seen people just go, ha! And jump back down. They jump up, ha! And back down. And it seems to me that the brain needs a certain amount of sensory input in order to be frightened, in order to be startled. And if you do it too fast, if you do the Speedy Gonzales scare, the brain doesn't have enough time to grasp onto the fact that you're being threatened. It doesn't have enough time to grasp onto the fact that it is scared, there is imminent danger, that it's being threatened. So now I train my actors to come out and do the quick scare and stay there for a couple of seconds and then go back down. It's a very minute point, but a very important one, my friends. It's important to give the people who are coming through, give their nervous system something to grab onto. It's important that their brains, their nervous system, recognize danger, recognize the fact that they're scared. And that can't happen if you do Speedy Gonzales. It can't happen if you're in and out too quickly. So yep, let's use the startle scare, but definitely stay out there. Be forceful. Be in their face. Be vocal. Show them, let them see your mask or your makeup. And then disappear. And that startle scare will work every time. I have used it hundreds and hundreds of times here at Horror Hill. And I don't have to tell you how gratifying it is, not only to scare someone, but to see them bounce off the walls, and they're holding on to their friends, and the legs give out, and the whole group of them goes down on the floor. It's great to scare somebody, but boy, that extra degree of satisfaction when they all hit the ground is something that you just can't buy. And when you do the startle scare the right way, those are very often the kind of results you can get. So, we've talked about the 45-degree rule. We've talked about the philosophy of scare. We've talked about make sure that when you do the startle scares that you stay up long enough so that you really hit them. Why don't we go to another area now where I can demonstrate again what I mean by the 45-degree rule. And we'll walk it down just to clarify for everybody. Then we'll go to the Coffin room and I'll show you a great setup. And then we can go to the tunnel room that's filled with smoke and lights. And I'll show you a really cool eerie scare that most of you probably aren't using, but it's very, very effective and it works every time. So why don't we do that? I will now demonstrate what I mean by the 45-degree rule, just to clear everything up. This is known as the window wall. And you can see I have some masks coming out of windows. Try to walk as steady as I can. Now people are walking along here, and nothing is really happening. These things are pretty cool. They're good looking. I also built a little ramp, and underneath there, you can't see because I have to clean it off, obviously. Well, obviously I started to, but I need to do better. There's a corpse underneath the plexiglass there as illuminated by the light. All right, there's the fourth mask. And now, we go down this corridor, and you can see another window here. Now we can do one of two things, and the scares work like crazy here. You can either put a mask in there, like that one, put it on a stick, the mask is on a stick, and then you quickly pull away the stick and jump out yourself, or you can just peer out from the corner of the curtain here to see when people are coming by and jump out at them then. Either way, it always works. But here's the beauty. The whole line is down here coming at us. They turn the corner, the big scare is right here, but they don't know if maybe something came from over there, or came from around the corner, or came from the window, because there's simply nothing there. The beauty of the 45-degree rule is the majority of the line is all the way down there. You're talking 8 or 10 or 12 people down there. Just a few people over here, they get the big bang, the big scare, and that's it. These people have no idea what just happened, and the guy in here can still get another 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 scares out of this line without the rest of the line knowing what happened. That's the beauty of my 45-degree rule. Use it to your advantage. It's a winner. It works every time. Okay, we're back in the Bates Hotel.
Hey, this guy.
Okay, we're back in the Bates Hotel room. But before we leave this important area, I almost forgot to show you another really good, hard-hitting, high-impact scare. Now watch this. You can see over in the corner, there's old Mother Bates. And over here is something I just call the Bates box because I have no idea what else to call it. I stuck a mannequin with a really good devil mask on. Again, you know, what other than Death Studios would suffice, you know. So we have a great Death Studios mask. People are scared in this area because of Mother Bates coming out from behind the desk, as I showed you before. They slam into the wall, they start coming this way, they look at her, they look at the devil. Then watch what happens. Don't go away! I'm still here. Ah! That's right. We get them again right here. And what better way to help make them put their guard down? They see a mannequin here. They never expect that something else is going to come out from behind the curtain because they already have something to focus on. They see it. They touch it. They feel it. They pull his nose. They touch his horns. That's all there is to it. Or so they think. Again, the beauty of not only misdirection, but this time making them put their guard down. They just got hammered over here. They would never suspect that they're going to get it again a mere few seconds later. Right here. Ah! Works every time. As they all do, my friends, as they all do. Okay. Here we are in the funeral room. There's a coffin. This is one of my favorite rooms in the house. And definitely one of my all-time favorite scares. Added a little something this year with the moving Phantom of the Opera. This, of course, is that beautiful, beautiful Gag Studio coffin they came out with this year. God, that thing is just such a beautiful piece. I can't recommend it too highly. Jeff Wehinkle, as always, has done a beautiful job. And in what appears to be somewhat of a rarity, has actually delivered the product right on time, unlike pretty much everyone else in the industry who seems to have real problems this year. This year, of course, being 1997. Okay, let's see here. This being one of my favorites. Let me show you. All right, I've showed this on many a tape. Many a person has borrowed this, used it on their tapes. Let me say, and I'm not real big on propriety and who's come up with what, who's invented this. But I'm particularly proud of this scare because this is a Richard Hanf's House of Horror original scare. I don't know anyone that was doing this or using this scare before I started doing it around 1992, 93, and before I put it on video, again with John Denley in our first tape on how to do a haunted house. After that, I think everybody saw it in one way or another. Everyone's been using it. I know Morris has recently come out with a new, updated, new and improved How to Run a Financially Successful Haunted House book. Of course, the other one was an industry standard for, God, 15, maybe even 20 years. I don't know. It was the book. He's recently come up with it, a new, improved version, and this scare was featured in that book. I have to admit, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed that I wasn't credited for it because I feel that this is really my scare, and I feel that this is the type of thing that withstands the test of time, and long after I'm gone, hopefully people will be using what I call the reverse coffin scare. So we can see, this is an empty coffin, somebody's inside, and they jump up for a great scare. Again, every time, it works constantly. But let me point this out. Leonard Pickle once said in his tape, the classic from, I believe, the late 80s, the Pickle Theory, his classic haunted house tape, that any room that is dependent upon an actor is doomed to failure. And most of the time that's true. I have to agree with Leonard. Most times that's true. Not so in this case. Take a look at this tape, watch this section of video, and watch how my friend Bob sets this scare up beautifully. Now Bob is a crazed, disturbing character that focuses in on people, especially, he just has a sixth sense almost. He knows who's scared, he knows who's frightened and who is disturbed by what they're seeing, and he focuses in on them, brings them in, sets up the entire room. This is Grandma, this is Grandpa, this is my Auntie May. Come over and pay respects to my Auntie May. Bob does a beautiful thing and has stretched out the perimeter of the room that goes all the way around that corner, almost into the other room, and he takes it all the way out the curtains, almost into another room there. So he has really widened the whole perimeter of the room, all in an effort to set the room up. Watch how beautifully he sets it up. Watch how effective the scares are. But then I'm going to follow that with another clip of tape where Bob is not here doing that. Somebody else is. So you can see that, again, it's not dependent on just one actor. Pretty much anyone can set the room up. And I'll even show you some scares when no one is in here and it works. So the moral of the story is, yeah, most times Leonard is right. A room that is dependent on an actor is doomed to fail eventually, because when that actor goes, so does the room. But in a case like this, when you have a strong, strong scare to begin with, the room can still work beautifully.
And I've got an empty hook right there. Give me your hand.
You best.
Give me your hand. Come with me, my pretty. Everyone follow us. I'm going to take you to my favorite room in the whole house. Come on, come on. Don't let her come alone. Come on! Now in this room, come on in, come on in. Come on in here. In the coffin over there is Grandma. In this coffin is Grandma. Come on over here. I want to introduce you to Uncle John. Uncle John died this morning. Come on, with all respect. Come on, great all respect. Come on, Uncle John. Over here. Don't you want to? So all my friends. friends hanging out waiting to meet you. Do you want to be my friend? I have a meat hook just for you, my pretty. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Come with me. I won't hurt you. I will protect you. Come follow me to my favorite room in the whole house. Come on, everyone. Follow me. Come on. Come on. Quickly now, quickly.
Don't kick him back here.
That's Uncle Jeffrey, and we've got room for you to go in with us. Baby, you've got to come over here and pay your respects to my Uncle John, who died this morning. Pay your respects. Come and pay your respects. Come on, get in here and pay your respects. Now, in order for the rest of you to leave this place safely, I must keep one of you. I choose you. I want this one. Go that way.
That's great footage, right? Now, again, the beauty of the reverse coffin scare, to refresh anyone's memory who hasn't seen it for a while, is they jump out, the actor jumps out of the foot of the coffin. You bring them over to the front of the coffin where you have a really lame, bad-looking body, as cheesy and lame as you can possibly make it. Again, people at this point are letting their guard down, saying, hey, what's the big deal about this? And that, with the proper setup, maybe a tap on the top of the coffin lid, that's what prompts the actor to jump up for a magnificent scare. And one final thought before we leave the funeral room. All these coffins are up on a platform. A really cool little scare is to stick somebody underneath the platforms, underneath the coffins, and when people are standing around waiting for something to happen, they reach out and grab their ankles. It's a great scare. It's a lot of fun because people are yelping, but you're only grabbing one person at a time, so the whole rest of the group has no idea what's going on. It throws the whole group off center. It's really cool. Give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Guy comes out of the smoke. Look at that. Is that great? Okay, Johnny, go back there. We'll try that again. Now what we're doing here is a simple hallway, and we've put a light up top. You can see it up there. And look at the funnel effect it makes when you throw some fog in there. It's really cool looking. And people come in now. Now Johnny is maybe 3 feet away from us, and there's no way to see him. So we have a very cool effect. People don't know what's happening. And then when Johnny comes out of the smoke, they're petrified. Look at that. Now he can come out quickly. Now he's just using a flashlight as a knife. Come on out again. Boom, right there in your face, disappears back into the fog, and they have no idea what's going on. This is a world-class scare as far as I'm concerned. No one's really using anything like this, and it's just so cool. Again, it's in your face, it's intimate, and it's guaranteed shocker. People are throwing themselves up against the wall. This works every time. Johnny, let's see one more time, slowly. Look at that, look at that. Right at you. And disappears into the fog. Now let's take a look at some more video. Oh yeah! Andrew, do it again. Yeah. All right, I'll try it again. Go.
Thank you.
All right, another really great illusion is here in the Strobe Room. And you can see how cool that looks. You take a regular hallway. Now in this case we've painted it stripe colors. You can see the stripes, I believe, as the fog starts to clear a little bit. You can see the stripes on either side. And as the people walk through the fog and get closer to the light as it clears, we'll try to do this, there is somebody standing there, and if they're holding on to a good-looking snake, for instance, the strobing light will make it seem as though the snake is actually moving, and that's generally enough to send people over the top. Another cool trick is to put cockroaches along all the walls and keep it dark, and then when the people are halfway through, to turn the strobe light on, and they'll see the cockroaches, and it will appear that the cockroaches are moving along the wall. Simple trick, but one that's really cool and always works. No haunted house is complete without a mad doctor, or in this case, a mad mortician. You always have to have some kind of lab. And what we've done here is really gone to the gruesome side. I like a good gross out. I like things being bloody and slimy and disgusting. So what we've done is taken the Don Post autopsy victim. I've made some intestines, as you can see. We fill the cavity area up with just a little bit of slime. We don't need too much. And we actually pull the intestines out and chase the people around for an interesting reaction. Let's take a look at some video on how it's really done.
He's got his mother's eyes. All right. If someone would be so kind as to assist me. All right. There's a brace. All right, just stand right there. All you've got to do is just hold it just like that. All right. Now I'll make the proper incision and we'll get down to business. All right. Here we go. Let's see what he's made of, shall we? All right. You know how to reconnect these, Doyle. I don't remember this chapter of the book. We take one of them home? Come back in, Doyle. Take one of them home. Someone's raising that to me. You have to go now. Go and leave me to my work. Well, friends, I can tell by that look in your eyes that you're all lovers of science. No, it's just a cheap feature. Come, don't be bashful. Come. I can tell by that look in your eye that you're all lovers of science. All right, friends, quite intrigued. You see, I was just about to perform an autopsy on this poor soul. Yes. You see, I was looking for the spark of life necessary to bring life to my creation here. And look, he's got his mother's eyes. If someone would be so kind as to assist me. There, you're fine.
Don't touch me!
All you've got to do is just hold that, just like that. Don't pull on it, just hold it. I'll get the little scalpel and nobody bounce around because I don't want to lock on your fingers. My insurance rate's already sky high. I need that, all right? I'm going to make the incision in there. We'll see what it's about. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, let's see what he's doing. Shall we? You have to hook these up again, Doyle. Oh, dear, I'll never get these frightful things back in there, will I?
Hey, don't bite me and give it in.
I must consult my records. Go now. Go, leave it to me. There you go. There. Wait till I call you. Get back in there. I can see. Why not? It's imitation leather. Believe me, I know skin and it's you got look. All right, now. Well, friends, I can see by that look in your eye. that would be stupid enough to buy a fake. All right. That's it. Are we quite ready? Are we quite ready? Here we go. All right, we're gonna make it fun.
Watch out! Let's work! Let's work!
Let's see.
Oh, yeah!
Video, one of the things we did was to get the people involved. We asked for a volunteer, someone to step forward and hold up the sheet while the autopsy begins. The whole purpose of that is so that the people don't see the syringe filled with water. So when he's coming down for the initial incision, what he's really doing is pressing down on the syringe, and you can see the water coming up, and it squirts everybody, and he says, "Oh, I hope I didn't get you with that bloody incision." In people's minds now, they're already envisioning that they're getting squirted with blood, and then that just adds to the startling effect when he pulls the intestines out of the ripped open body. It's a great scare. It's a lot of fun. Let's take a look at another one.
Back from the grave, speaking of course, completed total failure. I thought perhaps an autopsy would be in order, but first, a volunteer. Me! Very well. All you have to do is hold this up like that. Can you do that? Let's try it again. All you have to do is hold it up like that. Very nice. We will begin the incision. I hope I didn't get you with that bloody incision. It has produced some interesting results. I got that! I'm the doctor. First, I need a volunteer. Run over there, sir. Okay. All you have to do is hold this bloody sheet up high. Excellent. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! We will begin the incision now! I hope I didn't get anyone with that bloody incision. We've already talked about why you shouldn't use actors that the rooms depend on in order to make something work.
The reason is kind of obvious. Again, when the actor goes, so does the room. And that's why startle scares are always such a good idea to have in your house. But sometimes you get an idea that you feel is just really going to work, and it's worth the risk. That's what happened to me when I was cruising down the highway. I got an idea for an Exorcist routine, and I wrote the skit around a girl who came to me and said, "Hey, I can go into convulsions and make the eyes in my head roll back." So I said, "Okay, you got a job." So we came up with the Exorcist routine. The guy Steve, who plays the part of the father, he gets vomited on or spit on hundreds of times during the night. It's a fun thing, and what's really funny is when the people coming through start giving her a hard time, she turns around and vomits up on them. So just take a quick look at this. It's pretty funny. And we'll follow that with what to do when these guys didn't show up one night. Keep going, do it. Nice, that's going to be part of our TV commercial next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, this young girl is protected by the devil himself.
That's the one.
I come armed with my faith. By the power of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I command thee, flee this young child. I command thee. I command thee.
Father, is it over?
Yes, child, you are free. But now the devil is in
How would you like to play the part of the father and have that girl throwing up on you all night, huh? That's just another day in the haunted house business, friends. All right, so one night, the guy who plays the priest, he couldn't make it. And I felt, she's been doing such a great job. Why not give her the night off, let her do whatever she wants, and we'll turn the room into something else. So what we did was just put some Duvetine in front of it and board it off. We put a dead body. We took a live person and put him laying down basically the same way. So when the people came around the corner, they thought there were two dead bodies there. We'll take a look at the room. We'll take a look at the scare. It worked beautifully.
That's direct in my eyes.
Yeah, that worked really well, right? Okay, so the moral of the story is, even if you lose a room due to your actor showing up, it doesn't mean it's the end of the room. You can always just change it around with a couple of props and take someone and throw them into a different area, and bingo, you're rolling again. Always keep the creative juices flowing. Never give up a room. Always keep thinking how you can make it better, how you can make it scarier or more effective. And the videotape is evidence that it works. So now I'm going to go break down this room, change it back to normal. I'll be back. All right, this is our Blacklight Room. All right, so admit it, I'm a little stuck in the 60s, okay? But it still works. I don't know if you can see some of the great looking stuff in here. Look, there's a day-glow witch flying over the full moon. That's my logo. And you can see the pumpkin fields. There's a horse-drawn hearse over there. Haunted house over there. But the scare in this room is really cool, and it's best seen on videotape. We call this the Scream Room, for obvious reasons. Now look, I don't even know if you can see it. There we go. It says Scream. Now the thing about Scream is that it's such a hit movie, and it's always important to tie into some kind of familiar genre movie. It's really a cool idea. Now Scream is really popular. Scream 2 will be out by the time Halloween '98 rolls around. So I recommend everyone try to do some kind of Scream room like we did. You really don't need to be elaborate in the room. You don't have to be real fancy. The beauty of a room like a Scream room is everybody is already intimately familiar with the movie. So watch what happens. People come in and right away they say, it's the guy from Scream, it's the guy from Scream. They're already scared and you really haven't done anything. So let's watch a couple of video clips from that and you'll see how effective it is.
Where are you? What's your name? Going soon. Going soon.
Alright, the final room in the house should be a strong one. Yeah, I love this piece, huh? Cinema Secrets. You can't beat that guy. Nice tombstones from that grotesque company, too. Now, like I said, the final room in the house should be a strong one. So you want to make it something that people are going to remember. Now, I like a large cemetery. The bigger the better. Unfortunately, this year, I didn't have a lot of room for a big cemetery. So in order to make do, we came up with an interesting character. Now, the character of a killer Santa is certainly not a new one, and it's been featured in Silent Night, Deadly Night. Gee, I guess there are 4 of them now, maybe even more. It's not new, but most people, I don't think, have used it in their haunted houses. So most people have not seen it live, up close and personal type thing. We took that a little further, and watch how we ended the show with a killer claws kind of guy eating brains out of the Don Post head, the shotgun blast with the big hole in the head. This guy just takes it over the top, and I'm sure it's ruined many a Christmas for all the kids coming through.
Share your brains? They're yummy and nutritious.
We've been shooting all day. It's past 5 o'clock, and this being Halloween night, I have to go get the show ready. Hopefully we'll get slammed tonight. Hopefully you will too. Just let me say this. No matter how much advertising you do, word of mouth will always be the #1 way people hear about you. The average person who has a good time and sees a great kick-ass show will tell 3 people. The average person that has a bad time will tell 10 people. Those aren't my facts, those are marketing facts. So it's really to your advantage to do the best job you can do. You don't necessarily need great backdrops or fancy props. You don't need animatronics that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. All you need to do is follow the basic scare techniques that I've showed you on this tape. Keep in mind some of the things we've talked about on this tape. And with any luck at all, your lines will look like these. Happy Halloween. Hey, at least you're waving. At least somebody waves. There we go. Very nice.
Holy shit! Go! You gotta go. It's great.
Thanks, Gina. Thanks for the unsolicited opinion here, cousin Gina.
Biased or anything.
Pardon me, I need a tissue. Time of devoted, it's not an easy thing to come by. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. If you have anything for my crow brother, oh dear, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me wipe that off for you. There you are. Why must I spend eternity cursed souls?
Moses, losing it. Oh. Wow. You saw it live right here, folks. Hi there. My name is Richard Hanf. Chances are we've met before. Some people call me the Phantom. Some people call me Dr. Dread. Some people call me things you can't say on TV. I got distracted by the truck. No problem. Take it again. Happens. Watch the table right around here. I'll try to get it to land there. Close. I'll do it again. See how disgusting that is? I totally missed that one. Could go into convulsions and roll the eyes back in her head.
Well, there you have it. Rich Hanf's live from Horror Hill right here on Hauntworld. Make sure you like and subscribe to our page. Again, we want to thank Rich Hanf. Leave your comments below because Rich is going to watch this and I'm sure he would love to know from you out of this video, what was your biggest takeaways? What did you see in this video that you think can still help you in your haunted house today? We'd love to know with you leaving comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. And don't forget, we have other videos that are for sale, how to detail your haunted house and many others. They're very high-end videos that were made more recently in the late 2000s, around 2010-ish. And the last one was probably made around 2017. You can go to hauntedhousesupplies.com, and you can also subscribe to our magazine at hauntworld.com or hauntedhousemagazine.com. And remember, when you're out there looking for a haunted house this October, go to hauntworld.com to find the scariest ones. Until the next video, happy Halloween.
For scary videos and more, subscribe to our YouTube page, hauntworld.com.